everyone. Welcome to the 10 Minute Sea Discussion podcast, where I, Nora, your host, will break some exciting news from Southeast Asia, a small but fast-growing region in the Asian continent. Now let's zoom into our 11th episode, a recap on Singapore 2025 job market. Can we move from anxiety to opportunity? For this episode, it's my great honor to have the participation of our today guest, Glenn Lee, a senior HR, sharing his viewpoints on Singapore job market outlook this year. Welcome to the show, Glenn. How are you
Hi,
today?
Nora. I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Okay, Glenn. So before we chime into our discussion, let me share with you some figures. According to the MOM, retrenchment rates in Singapore are still within the normal range, around 1.5 incidences per 1,000 employees. Yet, that doesn't mean the local job market is reaching a more positive milestone. A report by the MOM shows that the job vacancy rate witnessed a decline from 3.2% in first quarter to 2.9% in second quarter as companies are becoming more cautious in hiring. Most try to hold back on headcount due to the current global uncertainty, weighing on hiring and wages across sectors. Given Singapore's recent labor market conditions, particularly the drop in job vacancies, how has it shaped job seekers' confidence and job search behavior? And what is the expected trajectory of these attitudes heading into 2026?
Well, for the next few years coming, there's really quite a lot of uncertainty in the market. The world is getting much faster pace in
Mm,
this digitalization world. And then with this market disruption of AI, and companies is trying to stay competitive and innovative at the same time. And this, I will see that this is a really, how fast we get through this is how well we go through this teething process.
mm,
In fact, this is nothing new. And we are at an era of what we call the Industrial 4.0,
mm,
where we go digitalization. But if we look back in the olden days, not so long ago, we have this Industrial 3.0 when people go into
mm,
robotics.
mm,
And the market was also had similar sentiments. People are worried about job loss. People are worried about robots replacing humans.
mm,
And companies were thinking, okay, I want to save costs. I want to reduce headcounts. I want to bring more into robotics and automation.
mm,
But it didn't really happen that way as what people was concerned was about. In fact, a lot of people get upskilled
mm,
and the automation still evolve, and but we actually see an influx of human beings getting more trained and more skilled. Because at one point during the teething process, people say that it can replace humans with robots, but at the end you need humans to manage the robots.
mm,
And it's really how fast human evolve as well.
mm,
Uh, Quite some time back, people say that, well, AI will not replace job, but people with AI will replace people that doesn't use AI.
mm,
Well, I would say that it's half true. Purely the fact that if someone who is a very seasoned engineer, for example, and he's very sound in his expertise, and it compared to someone who is not really strong in engineering
mm,
and use AI, I don't think he can replace that person who doesn't use AI.
mm,
Knowledge is still key. And AI is just a tool. And how well you use it is really how trained you are.
mm,
Because AI can't help you innovate and create something that's evolving.
mm,
Uh, they only can create something based on how you train it to be. And because basically they only based on what they know. They don't think out of the box. They don't have the creative mind like human being, the emotional aspect, the where a lot of creation, a lot of things we done is also based on our human strength, which is the emotional and sentimental aspect.
mm,
We relate that. It's just like maybe AI can help you invent a new dish,
mm,
but if you talk to any chef, they will know that, well, if you want to create a dish, you have to be emotional attached to it.
mm,
It tells a story, it has a foundation. So Uh, with this market coming out, businesses need to realize what they really need for their business.
Mm,
Uh, and they need to actually find out what's the what do they get to become productivity.
mm,
I have seen quite a lot of business say, we're going to use AI in our business, we're going to use AI
mm,
tool, we're going to do this, do that at the end. But what purpose is it trying to solve? Is there a problem that you feel that the AI can replace it? Uh, AI can make your stuff more efficiently, but not necessarily the way we want it. For example, a boss may tell you, I want a report now based
mm,
on the data we have. You can dump everything into ChatGPT and they'll come out
mm,
with a very comprehensive report. And within minutes, you give to the boss, oh, here's the report you want. But how the boss can look at all those comprehensive report and make a decision
mm,
and analyze, it's a different story. Does the boss then throw in the report and say, tell me what should I do for the company? You can't. You really have to know what matter to his heart and what matter to him emotional aspect that what is really needful for the business. So they have to really know what AI can really solve what kind of problems
mm,
and how does it help in productivity.
mm,
Making AI in the tool can make things faster, but not necessarily more effectively.
mm,
If everyone give the boss 10 reports every day that's so fast, can the boss manage it and make sound decision? You can't.
mm,
Uh, you really have to know what you are seeking that can help the business and 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 most important, help the business to innovate.
mm.
Yeah.
Okay, because you mentioned about AI, about the 4.0 era that we are in.
Mhm.
So I also want to share with you a report by the World Economy Forum. It also agrees that almost 40% of job skills will change by 2030. And employers say skill gaps remain the obstacle to transformation.
Yeah.
So my question is that, like, are employees receiving enough upskilling they need? And where does Singapore stand in this landscape? The current government and industry initiatives like Tech Skills Accelerator or career
Mhm.
conversion programs, are they actually producing the results that we hope for?
Uh, the answer is both yes and no. It's really
Mm,
quite tricky. I'll give you one example.
mm,
Not so long ago, 2, 3 years ago,
mm,
there was a lack in data scientists.
mm,
And if you can find someone who is really good in data scientists, you easily get a 5-figure salary.
mm,
And there's a lot of people then flood into doing data analytics, data scientist courses. And now, after 2, 3 years' time, we have flooded the market with so many data scientists trained background. They may not have enough experience,
mm,
but they're trained. And all of a sudden, it's like, do I still want to pay a 5-figure salary
mm,
when I can find data scientists almost everywhere? Uh, so people are picking up skills thinking that's what the market need. But that can be tricky because the market is evolving very fast because just by this data scientist example itself, it was just 2, 3 years back. And now it's overflooded with data scientists. But there are skills, the government is providing a lot of skills for people to upskill themselves. The tricky part is the market cannot be filled with a lot of people who are just average professionals.
mm,
If I'm a cook, there's everywhere there's cook, but I want a chef that can innovate and bring this restaurant to a different standard.
mm,
I can be maybe a designer. And there's so many people in the market that's a designer. What designer actually stands out? So
mm,
it comes to a point that the government is supporting a lot of skills for people. But how people train themselves is a different angle, especially for the fresh graduates. When they come out, they may have a foundation degree,
mm,
but then when I talk to a lot of these young graduates, they will also always struggle what to put in their resume.
mm,
Uh, because as a HR professional, I look at resume, everyone have a degree. And how well they wrote a resume is just another story. But what I'm actually looking for is how can they make a difference in the
mm,
organization? So I don't need an average graduate. I need someone who can actually stand out and add values to the organization. That's where a professional can make a difference. Let's say now I'm an accountant. I can find any accountant if I want to pay a 4, 5 thousand salary. If salary is not a limit, I can pay a good market rate salary. What makes me want to hire an accountant that fit in? Yes, we want to look at culture fit, right personality, those things. But what if you make all these chatbots and there's few of them is also a good personality like yourself? Then that's a
Mm-hmm.
bit tricky. But if I actually look at the CV that someone actually do something different, for example, if I'm an accountant, while looking for a job or in my spare time, I come on my own personal project that apply my own accounting skill. I may use AI as a tool, I may come out all these things, I may simplify a process, but come out a little mini personal project to maybe come out a problem statement and then come out your own mini project, how you solve it. And that could be into your resume. They say that I can do things like this, that initiative. I'm not paid to do it, but I can be creative and innovate.
Mm-hmm.
That is something AI can't replace you. That is something stand for professional, and that's what makes you be able to add value to a business.
Mm-hmm.
If more professionals do that way, right, your resume will stand out because I do know that when I bring you in, you can solve problem, you think out of the box, and you think of what with your ability, what kind of problem you solve. It's just like going back to the robotics. You need a really very strong engineer who know the process so well that I don't want to put robotics in everywhere. I will still have process that I need manual effort. But there are certain things that I require the precision, the accuracy, the zero error, zero product mistake kind of thing. I want to focus on that robotic part.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you need an engineer who know the problem that well, find the root cause, and solve it with a state-of-the-art solution.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, when people in this market now, you can't just have a foundation knowledge and think that you can make it in the society. It's getting a lot more challenging, more tricky. People need to evolve and they must learn to use the tools that help them with that. AI itself is just another tool. If you can use that tool really well, you can make it to your advantage.
Hmm. You just also mentioned about fresh graduates, and it just reminds me of the the current struggle among the graduates these days. Like most of them struggle for at least like 6 months after
Mm.
graduate to really land a full-time job. May I ask if this trend continues, what risks does the economy face from losing out on its young workforce? And what steps should both the education sector and policymakers take to minimize these risks? Maybe also prepare the young people for a very tech-driven future.
It's going to be a continual problem for this. And because now the industry, if you know the market, businesses are everyone facing their own challenges. And because of the fast pace, the society we're in now, innovation is key. And they want people coming with the right experience, come in, plug and
Mm,
play, solve
mm,
problems,
mm,
bring the business to life and bring it to the higher level.
mm,
Sometimes some businesses, especially startups and growing business, they don't have that bandwidth to bring in a fresh grade and train.
mm,
They need expert coming in. But having said that, it doesn't mean that you write off fresh graduate right away. I
mm,
think universities and businesses, since the beginning, they have been collaborate with the school, industrial attachment, all this stuff. But it have to actually evolve further. That
mm,
means students maybe at their final stage of their education, they really have to plug into organization where they'll be exposed to real life business challenges
mm,
and also part of their transition to how can they solve the company use. It's
mm,
very similar like the medical industry. When you study medical,
mm,
you don't do your whole degree and then after that you say,
mm,
okay, now you can go to the hospital, you can operate on someone. I don't think
mm,
anyone have that confidence right away.
mm, mm,
And it's even more taxing now for any graduates, regardless what kind of professional you're in. But what the medical school does is, after if I'm not wrong, the third or fourth year, they start plugging into the hospital.
mm,
They get exposed to the work environment. They get involved with some of the day-to-day operation. They get into the field. They blend in gradually, and then as they graduate, they already know how to make certain decision. They have certain sound mind of what the operation will be like, and they will also practice their skill set and
mm,
upgrade themselves along the way.
mm,
And I think in any other industry right now, they have to actually start using this kind of model that, you know, you can learn all your foundation and all you can,
mm,
but we can't wait for you to graduate and then join the society and rediscover yourself.
mm,
And
mm,
sometimes graduates will say that whatever you learn in school, you go to the workplace, it may not apply everything. Uh,
mm,
But if they actually have an earlier set that schools start to be involved with organization to train them even like an internship, they may not get very well paid, but they actually start to involve with the operation.
Mm,
They'll start to realize that, okay, what I've learned in school, what can be applied in the business.
mm,
And then they will probably want to get a bit specialized, maybe in their final year, to learn certain skill that can apply to the company,
mm,
knowing that after I graduate, I will join this company and start to add more values.
mm,
By then, the company will probably know you know the business well for 1 year now. You help with some little projects, we help with
mm,
some operation. You
mm,
probably can come in and take out a bigger responsibility,
mm,
which I think a lot of business will still need that because that also will help them bringing the cost down than
mm,
trying to hire very experienced staff.
mm,
They hire graduates that actually already know your business, your culture, your practice,
mm,
and then train you along the way so that you can perform. Businesses are going the high cost. One of the reasons hiring has a slow pace is people want to spend more wisely now.
mm,
It's just like now the shopping behavior. It's same
mm,
like employment. If I go out, I go to a brick and mortar shop, I look at certain stuff. I want to make sure that I bought it at a really justifiable price. And I'll check out Shopee, I'll check
mm,
out Lazada, I'll check out
mm,
Alibaba. I find that, well, I'm not in the urgency to buy this product. I can save maybe 10 or 20% of this product. Why should I buy from a brick and mortar store? So
mm,
people are getting very savvy in how they spend. Likewise, in businesses, owners are also very careful how they spend, and they want
mm,
to spend value for money.
mm,
Yeah. But if now I give you something why Kickstarter concept works, it's like, let me give you some trial how this product gonna work and get you have a taste of it.
mm,
And I walk you through the development phase and all these things. And by the time the product comes to life, you know that it's gonna help you. And people get excited about it because it's sort of like customized for my need.
mm,
And if you apply the same mindset to school, that going to most certain students, they will be trained degree by the school, but I get to take them in certain time of their life in school. They'll be trained in certain expertise that is needful for my business.
mm,
Then I'll be more than ready to take this person in because I already passed the phase of teething or orientate the 1 year hand holding kind of part. They probably come in as a more matured professional, ready to adapt, ready to add value to the organization. So that
mm,
will actually maybe close up the gap of taking long time to find a job. Business can talk to schools and organizations like A-Star on what they really need,
mm, mm,
what are the problems they want to solve, and engage these people and say that what kind of resources you can provide. And in return, what can I help with the school
mm,
to bring in the graduates?
mm,
A lot more collaboration. This will actually then serve a closely knit relationship that academic help the business bridge the gap for graduation.
mm,
If we don't go into that, it will back to the traditional way. Graduate, you got your degree now, voila, you know
mm,
something, find your way through in the society. You'll be lucky if someone give you a job and then try to prove yourself.
mm,
I don't think in this fast-paced world it's going to work very effective anymore. A lot of students have to really need to expose in the economy and the business as early as possible.
mm.
All
Okay,
right.
Glenn, one last question from me. As 2025 comes to a close and we look ahead to 2026, what is your outlook for the job market next year? Are there any emerging trends, potential challenges, or significant shifts that employees, new graduates, job seekers should be aware of? Will there be any opportunities for the majority of workers? How can they best prepare themselves to remain resilient and adaptable amid the changes?
With this going market now, I do feel students have to be very open about what they want to pursue. Don't be afraid to try new things. Unlike the professional groups, you're accountants, you're lawyers, you probably just go into that sector, be an
Mm,
auditor or be an accountant. But there are businesses that actually require not just that knowledge you have,
mm,
but what are the skill set you can add value? For example, if you look at the CV nowadays, people look for not just a HR manager. They
mm,
want to look for someone who is both finance and HR manager.
mm,
If you look at perhaps someone as a kitchen helper, they
mm,
also want someone that actually can also do waitering.
mm,
The job scope, people are looking to more overlap kind of role. that it doesn't deviate too much. It's not something new. There were back in the olden days, we look at people that have marketing skill, but you also can do sales as well.
Mm.
So that you will start to see a lot more roles coming out that is a lot more unique, data analytics and yet programmer. So people actually had to then double out on their skill set, find some things that they are passionate about
Mm.
and add out to their skill set. Let's say you're an engineer. And engineer, I take out Six Sigma, I take out process improvement, I take out operation thing. It actually equipped me as a better engineer.
Mm.
And I go into a company, I don't just do engineering stuff, I can do operation stuff, I can do project stuff, I can do process improvement. Graduates have to pursue certain skill set where the Singapore government is providing already that platform to upsell themselves so that when they go into an industry, they can actually, people who don't hire you just for a degree, they
Mm.
hire you for diverse values you can add to the company.
Mm.
And companies are more willing to spend in that sense. Yeah. Because I know I can bring in something that maybe there's certain project, all these things. I may not want to hire a project manager,
Mm.
but I may have someone that actually can add out a secondary role as a project manager. And that will help all these fresh graduates to upskill themselves pretty fast. Not just for the graduate, for all those matured professionals. You start to see the trend, what the market needs. I
Mm.
mean, a lot of people now move into AI course and all these
Mm.
things. Yeah, that could be useful, but at the end of the day, what kind of values are you adding to the organization? Because AI
Mm.
tools, anyone can pick it out anytime.
Mm.
It's just an open AI concept that if you know how data are being used and interpret and made into a solution, everyone with that thinking mindset can use that tool effectively. But you must have certain foundation really well in order to apply the tool to work for you.
Mm.
I can cook, but can I design a
Mm.
dish? Can
Mm.
I make the kitchen process more effective? Am I very good in inventory management? And
Mm.
I very good in the restaurant branding and culture. All these are different skills. If you have that skill set, I'm more than happy to hire this kind of cook that can
Mm.
add value to different angles of the restaurant.
Mm.
But I just know that I only know how to cook. I don't know how to do anything else well. There's quite a lot of cooks out there. So by evolving that, when you actually make yourself more interesting, more
Mm.
diverse, you also you will start to realize like polishing all these skills. You also make yourself a bit more indispensable in the
Mm.
organization because
Mm.
you are able to shift your footing around in the
Mm.
business. Yeah.
Mm.
So the job market now you start to see quite a fair bit of shift in the angle that people, if I want to spend, I want to spend wisely. I don't want to spend someone with this thing. Maybe I want to spend someone that holds certain dual responsibility.
Mm. Mm.
And sometimes you look at that job scope and say, well, I have this skill, but they also need something else that doesn't have. But then you start to realize that, well, businesses are getting ridiculous. How come they need so many dual roles? But this is how the economy is changing. And if you
Mm.
feel that I just know how to do this job, I can't do the other aspect, have you actually then wondered that if I can do both and market need this, I become more unique? People really need to upskill themselves in that sense. Like just
Mm.
for my background, I'm engineering trained,
Mm.
but over the years I evolved from consultancy, management
Mm.
consultancy, and then moved to HR,
Mm.
uh, which I do see myself putting myself in a diverse industry
Mm.
because I can go into operation. I know what the operation need, and I know in the back end how HR can support that in the talent management and
Mm.
strategic growth. So
Mm.
people have to start seeing that kind of angles that is
Mm.
moving forward in the market.
I agree with you. Yes. For the current fast-paced market and very tech-driven, we have to admit that staying diverse, upskilling, and be open-minded to whatever opportunities, whatever possibilities that we can develop ourselves into. It will make ourselves more unique, more interesting, and we can also add more value to ourselves and to the business as well.
Exactly.
Glenn,
Yeah.
that was such a very, very long chat, but super nice chat with you. It's really my great pleasure to have you here with me today. Thank you so much for your viewpoints. I hope we'll have more chances to talk again and wish you all the best to come.
Thank you, Nora. The pleasure is mine. You have a
Yes.
good day ahead, yeah?
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Bye.
So that's the end of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it and found the news interesting. For your convenient reference to further details of the news I mentioned, please find the links to my blog page in the description, where I have compiled all the related information. If you have any questions, or you want to discuss more on what I shared today, please leave your comments below. I would love to talk to each of you more as well. You can search for more episodes of this 10-minute C discussion podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Podcasts, and my own blog page. Thank you for listening to today's episode all the way to the end. And I hope to see you again in my next episode of 10-minute C discussion, which will be released soon. Once again, this is Nora, your host. Thank you so much and goodbye.